Good morning. Welcome to this week's episode of Elevate Your Coaching Business. We're going to be talking about how you sell out your coaching services. We have 4 months left in this year, so there's no excuse for you not selling out your coaching services. And I'm going to share with you how you set yourself up now so that you're selling out for the rest of the year. And also, I just want to bring to your attention all of this week, up until Monday of next week, I'm doing 7 days of lives where I'm teaching you all of the strategies that you need to be able to sell out your coaching series or your coaching services. The word series in my head. So if you haven't actually signed up for that or you're not seeing it, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'm going live there every day at 12:30 p.m. So don't miss out on it. And in case you're watching this on a replay afterwards, it will still be up on YouTube. So you will have all the information that you need to be able to start from the very beginning of what is it that I'm creating in my business all the way through to selling out your services. So let's get back to today. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Joanne O'Halloran. I'm a business mentor for coaches who are in the first kind of 1 to 2 years of business who want to sign 3 to 5 clients repeatedly each month. So what I do is we sort out from the beginning stages of, well, where your audience actually coming from? Do you even have an audience? Most people don't. They have followers rather than an audience. So where is your audience actually coming from? How do you generate your leads? Then how do you connect to them so that they want to be friends with you and they want to be connected with you? And I use the word friends lightly. Obviously, they're not all going to be friends, but as in that you have that relationship with them, that you feel like you know them and that they know you. And then that they become your clients. And not only your clients, but they become your cheerleaders. There is no better validation for any business to have clients, customers, consumers share what they are experiencing, share what they've learned with other people. I just think that's so gorgeous to be able to do it. So that's what I teach everybody. So right now we're going to focus on how do you sell out your coaching services. So we're going to take it from the very beginning. So if you haven't got a pen and a notebook, go get one. Also, if you're watching this back on the replay, you can press pause, right? But you want to make sure that you are implementing these as I'm sharing with you to do. The one thing that I find that people do is they'll take bits of it and then try and implement it, and then it doesn't work. And then they wonder why it doesn't work. And I actually shared this morning on a completely different live. I'm everywhere today, but on a completely different live. You've got to get your mindset in a really amazing place and know that you are responsible for everything that you create and everything that you don't create. It isn't somebody else's fault. It's not somebody else's problem. You have a choice in how you choose to show up and how you choose to approach things. And it's not about things being right or wrong or that you're bad or you're good because you did it in a particular way, but it's bringing awareness that when things are taught, they're done in a particular way to show you how to get the most optimum value from something. So when you tweak it, you're changing it. You're taking out that most optimization from it. And I see it all the time. I even see it with my own clients where fear kicks in and they make these little tweaks and you can see where the impact is. And anybody that does that, always when they get to the end of the process, they're like, oh, I wish I had have done XYZ. And it's like, yeah, and that's also part of your growth and your learning so that you can see how your ego is coming into play and how it's driving insecurities and self-doubt and fear, and I call it general yuckiness inside of you. So my invitation for you today is apply this exactly how I'm sharing it to you so that you can have the most optimum results, rather than it being a bit of this and a bit of that and it's half working, some things working and other things not. And if you want a tool to support your mindset so that you feel empowered to do this, first of all, no, shit's going to come up for you. You're going to feel uncomfortable. There's going to be things that you're like, oh God, I don't know if I can do that. And you will find multiple reasons as to why it's not a good idea to do this. And, why other things would be more effective for you. And you'll justify your personality, you'll justify what is a strength and what is a weakness. And you will convince yourself that this is right. So I used to be painfully shy. I would there's friends of mine that will say that when I had my first ever coach, I would be so far back that you couldn't even see me in the screen. I'd be really, really far back. Never spoke. If I had to put up my hand, I'd be mortified. I'd put stuff in the chat rather than actually speak out. And all of that shifted. All of that shifted with these mindset pieces, knowing that I am 100% responsible and I choose how things are. And I have a choice that if I feel afraid, what am I choosing? Am I choosing to focus on the problem, or am I choosing to focus on a solution? When fear kicks in, we're actually focusing on a problem, and it's a problem that hasn't actually happened yet. We're just trying to predict everything that could happen. And then we sit in all the things that could happen and make them true. Whereas if you focus on the solution and you choose to go, okay, what do I need support with and who do I need support from to make this happen? It's okay that I don't know. Somebody out there knows, right? There's always somebody that has a solution. So when you focus on that and go, okay, what do I need support with and who do I need support from? You will move towards it and the fear will start to release. Because the one thing that I've learned is confidence is not something that you can instill before you do something. Confidence actually comes when you're competent doing something, when you've had the experience of it, when you've seen that, nothing bad happens to you, you don't die, you don't get run over by a bus, your family doesn't get, nothing bad happens to them, right? Then you feel confident with this. But there's this like preconception out there that you've got to feel confident before you do it. You don't, and you're not going to. Like, there's some parts of being in business and building a business that you will naturally be more confident about. And there's certain tasks, there's certain tactics that you will just do without even thinking. And then there's other ones where you're like, absolutely, are you freaking kidding me? I'm just going to go down into my little cubby hole and hide. I'm going to hide, I'm going to avoid, and I'm going to keep avoiding until I can't avoid it anymore. And then my body's going to get sick. I'm going to get tired. Something will happen that like I need to pick up the kids, or, we create scenarios that we just don't need to be in. So my invitation for you is know this about yourself from the start, connect with your mindset and commit to doing this exactly how I'm showing it to you so that you can get the most optimum value from it. Commitment is always the key for things. Most times people are not committed, they're conditional, which means that they will only do it if I have time, if I feel comfortable, if this fits into my schedule, if I have the money. I'm sorry to say, but business doesn't operate like that. You cannot operate on the if. You've got to operate on, this is my goal, this is my vision, and I'm committed no matter what. And this is why most businesses fail, because people are not committed. It's not a secret that like most coaching businesses don't get past their first year in business. And if they do, they struggle to make money and quit at year 3. It's a fact, right? You can look up all those stats online. And the reason being is most coaches are actually not a student of their own work. Let me say that again. Most coaches are not students of their own work. So they want to teach somebody else how to do something, but they're not applying it themselves. And when you're not applying it yourself, it's very obvious, right? Because you feel inauthentic, and that comes across then when you're delivering your content, when you're sharing, and you'll know, because you'll see it, because people are in convincing energy, they're like strong arming people, or they're super vanilla, like it is so plain Jane that nobody connects with it because it's not invoking any sort of emotion. And that's our responsibility as a coach, is to be able to invoke emotion to shift people out of where they are, right? Even for me as a business mentor, I still get to shift you out of what you're currently experiencing, because what do most people experience in business when they're not getting results? It's procrastination, it's the self-doubt, it's fear, it's, getting out of the gates really fast, but not actually completing anything that you start. It's the like over analyzing, like the analysis paralysis, and trying to have all the ducks in a row beforehand. So it's my responsibility to invoke that emotion in you to shift you out of it. So if I'm not being a student of my own work, so like whatever I teach, if I'm not actually applying this in my business and testing it and knowing that it works and seeing what the results are and knowing like what the data is behind it, you're going to know that. Because number one, I won't be able to answer any of your questions, but number two, it will be so plain that I have no conviction behind it. So just know that about yourself. Check in with yourself and go, okay, am I actually being a student of my own work? Or am I saying, you do this, but I'm not going to do it? And it's a great way for imposter syndrome to kick in, right? Because then it's like justifying why we're not good enough to do this. So as I would say to my clients, cut your shit, be a student of your own work and move forward. Now that we've had that little pep talk at the start, let me show you and share with you how you sell out your coaching services. So it does not matter where you're at in business right now. It doesn't matter if you haven't even started. I want you to hear this, right? So if you haven't even started your business yet, if it's just an idea, great. If you are 6 to 12 months in business and maybe you've had no clients, great. If you are 6 to 12 months in business and you've had a couple of clients, great. If you are more than that in business and you've had clients and you want to sell out your services, you want to go from the trickle effect to the like explosion effect, great. This works, right? So if you've been in my world at all, you will know that I talk about consistency, simplicity, and committed action. Those three get to go together. This is why this works. What most people do is they are not consistent with their approach. They keep changing it. And if you keep changing your content, if you keep changing that one thing that you're known for, you're not going to be known for anything. You've got to be known for something. So what is it that you're known for? Okay, so keep that in mind. So let's go back to the beginning. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to have a look at, okay, we've got 4 months left in the year. So I want you to do out a 90-day plan from here. So for September, October, November, and then you'll do it again for December, January, February, right? But I want you to do out a 90-day plan. So how I would do it is I would draw like on a page, keep it simple, right? 90 days, right? So we have September, October, November. I know it's backwards, but you know what I mean. September, October, November, right? Now, when you have that, this is what you get to focus on during these months only. Only. You don't get to shift into something else because you feel like it's not working for you. You get to stay focused on this. So I want you to do it in 90 days. All right. Now I'm going to walk you through the steps that you get to take, and then you're going to fit them into your 90 days. All right. So the first thing that you've got to do is see what type of an audience do you have. So if you know who your ideal clients are they actually in your audience right now? So when I say audience, I'm talking about like social media, email. Do they exist in there? And if your answer is you don't know, great, you get to go find out. If you don't have an audience at all, great, that's where you get to start. You get to build an audience. It is super important to have the foundations in place of an audience to actually sell to before you try and sell your services, right? Most people take the painstakingly slow approach of like going to networking events, and I'm not discounting them because you do want to layer your strategies, right? But of just going to networking events and then you get a client here and a client there, and that like engulfs the whole panic around shit, where is my next client going to come from, right? Whereas if you spend time actually building out your audience first, it makes your sales so much easier at the back end because you have a number of people to sell to and you're not on all the time, right? So you can create automations, you can create different structures, like you can do live launching, you can do evergreen if you have an audience. But if you do not have an audience, who are you selling to? Like, who are you going to do? You're going to make your life really challenging, really challenging. So your audience is where you get to look at first. And this is why it's 90 days, right? Most people are like, I'm not doing that. I'm not spending 3 months building out my audience. Okay, great. How long have you been struggling so far? How long have you been like going to just networking events or, you know, going live on social media and trying to figure out where your clients are? I guarantee you it's been longer than 3 months. So this is a mindset piece that you get to shift, change from I can't to I won't, and then flip it to I am, right? So I can't spend 3 months or whatever, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months building out my audience, to I won't spend that time building out my audience. Feels different, doesn't it? And then when you're in the I won't, you're like, okay, so this is an obstacle that's in front of me. What do I need support with and who do I need support from to make it happen? See where I'm going with this? These are always the steps that you get to take. So let's go back to the beginning. Do you have an audience, yes or no? If you do, are your ideal clients in there? If you don't know, go figure it out, market research. And if they are in there, great. We'll move on to the next steps. If you don't have an audience, build one. If you're watching my lives of the 7-day lives yesterday, I showed you how to do that. So focus on that first and actually put time and effort into it. And I'm not talking about a couple of weeks. I'm talking about a couple of months here of really going hard and heavy so that you can have a big audience. And there's multiple ways to do it. And you definitely want to layer your strategies so that you're building up your audience quickly and they're warm and hot leads that are in there, rather than it just being like a group of people like followers on social media and then not being able to do anything with them. So that's part one. So on your 90-day plan, depending on where you're at in business, figure out how much time you need to put into it. If you're brand new, you want to put the 3 months into it. Like, I'm not kidding you. You want to put the 3 months into it, so that you're building it up. And don't get into the scarcity mindset of, oh my God, I have to sell during those 3 months. You don't. You don't. You do not. You do not. You will thank me for this. You will thank me for this, but you do not. Focus on building up your audience first, getting them warm, getting them hot, and then sell. Okay. So from there, so let's say you have your audience, right? You get to figure out what this looks like in your 90-day plan. Let's say now you have your audience. So when we think about then selling out our coaching services, so I'm coming at it from like, my audience are warm and hot because they are, right? So whenever I put out an offer, I always make sales, which is great, right? It's a great space to be in. And I did not start out there. Okay. So know this, hear what I'm saying. I did not start out there. I got to do what I'm sharing with you to do. I did what everybody else does for 8 months, was like, hello, do you want to be my client? Where are you? Like, what's going on? And then I got my shit together, built my audience, and boom, was able to sell from there. So that's what I'm saying. Audience first, audience first. And if you don't know how to do it, watch my live and then come ask me. This is literally my zone of genius. Okay. Literally my zone of genius. So come to me for it. But let's say you have your audience there. They're ready to go. The best way to connect with them is through a live element. So you can do that through like a live series, like what I'm doing, right? You can do it like this, like, so once a week going live, you can do masterclasses, you can do challenges. We definitely want to add in a live element. And here's why. It is the best way for people to see what it's like to actually connect with you and to ask you questions, to get live responses to it, to see how you respond, how you connect with them, and to really create that understanding with them and the relationship with them. There's no better way to do it. And it's fun, right? Now, I know for everybody, it's not going to feel fun. It didn't used to feel fun for me. It does now. It's my most favorite thing to do. I just love connecting, and you will get there. But a live element, like, you have to think about it, especially for coaching, you're going to have live elements anyway. Like, you want to be adding in live elements to your programs, like adding in retreats, workshop days, VIP days, something like that, where you're bringing the community all together in a live element is a great way to be able to do this. But a live element is a great way for people to connect with you. Now, I'm going to share with you something that a lot of people won't share, and it's going to feel uncomfortable, and I'm going to encourage you to do it anyway, right? If you want to sell out your services, you want to layer the number of live elements that you have. So what I mean by that is you want to do back to back to back to back live elements. Now, they can be different ones or they can be the same. And I already know the questions that are coming up because they come up from my clients, right? Which is, well, sure, why would I say the same thing to the same people? Why am I sharing the same information with them again? Are they not going to think I'm crazy? And the thing I'm going to say to you is, that's all about you, right? All about you. And you have to remember, as a business owner, you've got to focus out and focus on your clients and what they need to hear, because people need to hear the same message multiple times. It needs to become an earworm, and they've got to resonate with you, and they've got to get to know you. So there's different buyer styles and different personality styles. You cannot assume that they're all that instant one and done buy. That's my buyer style, right? I'm either in or I'm not. If you get me excited, I'm in. Like, and I will figure it out to get myself in. Like, it's not a, I'll think about it. It's never an I'll think about it. It's a hell to the yes, or it's a absolutely not. Now, not everybody is my buyer style. My partner, Robert, is not my buyer style. In fact, he's the complete opposite to me. He needs all the information, all the detail, ask multiple questions, research on it, speak to other people. Like, he'll watch multiple replays. He will like spend a lot of time with it before he's a yes. That doesn't make him not committed. It's just his buyer style. But when you're focusing on that, like somebody like me, who's like an instant buyer, you're going to leave everybody like Robert behind. And you'd be surprised at, like, I'm going to be honest, my buyer style is actually less committed than Robert's buyer style. So why would you want to leave them behind? Yeah. So this is why you've got to focus out on what your clients need. But layering live elements together builds your authority, shows people that you're an expert, creates that earworm effect of the message that people need to hear. And plus you're being generous, right? Like you're showing up loving and caringly. But you want to layer them. So let me give you an example of what a layered live element would look like. You could do a live, I'm literally going to take it the way I'm doing it. Right? So you've got like a live series right now, right? That's one layer. My second layer is elevate your coaching business, because that happens anyway every week, right? So I've got my 7-day live series. We've got elevate your business, and then I'm going to be doing a masterclass. So that's 3 different layers of live elements, all connected, all focused on the same thing, all like to create that emotion in you to help you move forward and move you out of that stuckedness that you're in, right? So that is an effective way to build that authority. You will find that there are some people that will come to each and every one of them and then buy on the very last day of your offer. Great. Like, great. Yeah. So just notice that you want to layer it up, right? So layer up your lives. And if it feels uncomfortable for you, check in with yourself and ask you why. Why? Because wherever it is that you're not willing to go is exactly where you need to go. And what I mean by that is whatever it is you're not willing to do is exactly what you need to do. So layering it is the most effective way. Like there's multiple, again, like I said, there's multiple ways in which you can do it. You could do like, you could be on your stories, right? So live chatting on your stories, and then you could go into an invitation for a masterclass, but you're talking about your masterclass every day, and then you do your masterclass. From there, then people will go into an email sequence, and there could be videos in your email sequence. You're still live in front of them. So, or you've got like an audio piece that you send out, which is, I do both, right? So there's just different elements that are in there that you're constantly in front of people without really being on all the time. So it's not a huge amount of energy for it. Now it will be if you're not prepared beforehand, for sure. But you definitely want to include the live element. So in there, plan that out in your 90 days, right? Plan out what your live elements are going to look like and have at least 3 in there, at least 3. And you can do any which way you want. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Like you could do 3 masterclasses back to back. Great. You could do a masterclass series. I did that in December. It was so effective. I just tried my arm with it to see what it looked like, and it worked really, really well. In fact, one of them became an evergreen masterclass for me, which wouldn't have happened if I hadn't done that, you know? So have your live elements there. When you open up your cart for people to come work with you, make sure that you are closing your cart too. So what I mean by that is that you open up the doors to work with you and then you close them. Now, that does not mean that you can't have an evergreen selling, because you do want to be selling even when you're not like launching and you're not in a live sales phase. You do want to do this, but how you make it like true, real, and that you're not saying one thing and doing another is you add in bonuses, like upsells, downsells, whatever you want to call them, add them in, right? So you want to add it in that like additional like it's like a value piece, right? So you want to add in this additional value to support somebody, but you do it during the cart open phase. You can do like a fast action bonus where people do it in the first 24 hours. You can do like a mic drop bonus somewhere in the middle or even in the last 24 hours. But a bonus, how you get a bonus to be effective and that people want it is when you're doing market research, listen to what people are telling you they want. Like really listen. Ask your current clients, if you have clients, right? Ask your current clients, what is one thing that you taught that they've implemented that is like huge game changer for them, and use that. Like I have one email sales sequence that I give to my clients at Swipe Files, and it made me 27K in 1 week, and it's been hugely effective for them. So why wouldn't I take that and add that as a bonus? It's done, makes no difference to me, right? It's done, it's adding value, it works. So why wouldn't I add it on? And I do, right? So I have a flash sale on at the moment, and that is one of the bonuses. And to be honest with you, that plus I have social media copy templates. So the content and how you structure them in there too, because they're what people want, right? Because it takes away the pain of trying to figure out what you write. It takes away the pain of trying to figure out the structure and how you get it to connect when you already have captivating content written. it's easier to do it from like to swipe it and to make it sound like you, right? And then I also have a visibility workshop because most people are afraid about putting themselves out there. And there's like what I was saying there earlier, when I'm asking you to do like 3 different live elements, stuff's going to come up for you. So that supports with that. So ask your clients what is like something that's super effective for them, and ask your audience already, what is that one thing that like would absolutely be a game changer for them, and then give it to them. Literally give it to them. It's that simple. And that's how you create the difference for us. The final thing that I want to say to you is, and I've already said it at the beginning, your mindset matters. If you are like uncomfortable selling all the time, that is something you've got to shift. And you've got to change it from I can't to I won't, so that you can see that you're actually the person putting the obstacle in the way. And know that confidence doing this will only come from your competence. So you've got to take the action anyway and move forward with it. Like nothing is going to bad to happen to you. Even if you get negative comments, great, I get them, I just delete them, right? Or like if somebody sends me a message, so what? Like there's going to be people that are out there that are going to actively choose to put down whatever you're doing, but that's their shit, that's not yours. So don't take it on. Like don't take it on. As long as you're being real and authentic with what you're doing, then that's good. And just keep in mind too, it's actually really selfish to not sell your services. Like you started your business because you knew that there was an impact that you wanted to make in the world. You knew that there was people out there that needed to hear what you had to say and needed to receive the services that you have so that they could have whatever the transformation is. So like imagine like how selfish and greedy it is to keep it to ourselves and to not share it. So keep that in mind when your doubt comes up or insecurities come up. How can you focus outwards and focus on the people that need to hear you? I'll share with you what I did way back when I used to be like shit scared of going live. I actually got a picture of my friend who was my ideal client, and I stuck her beside the camera so that I knew I was speaking to her whenever I was going live, so that it wasn't about me. I was focused on her and what I knew she needed to hear. So it's just a little tip for you if you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable. But apply all of these today. Put them into your 90-day plan. If you have no audience, 90 days gets to be spent building out your audience. If you do have an audience, plan out, and if they're warm, plan out when you're going to do your live elements, so your layers of lives, whatever they look like, when they're going to be, what your intention is for the number of people that you want in there, and then what your sales is going to look like afterwards, and what the next level of sales is. So even when your cart's closed, what's that next level of sales going to look like? And that is how you are going to sell out your coaching services, because then you're still selling even when you're not selling. So enjoy. If you've got any questions, share them in the comments.